CMMS Radio talks about all things CMMS, computerized maintenance management software, focused on maintenance management. It's the people, the process, and the culture that make your CMMS journey a success.
It's really easy to be like, oh yeah, you know what? 6 months from now, I can crush that. Yeah, I can take that on later. 6 weeks from now, whatever that may be. Harsh reality, typically one of those, wherever you go, there you are. So then you get to that 6 months, you're the same person that you were then, and now you're just even more behind, you have more load to try and capture. And so the last piece of this, kind of why we're still in this morass, is there's also just a lot of lack of discipline in this space, a lack of structure. And I say that with a boatload of empathy with shop floor professionals. It is the most volatile trade that there is, just because of the unpredictability in a lot of manufacturing environments. Good luck as vendors trying to schedule a meeting with a maintenance manager or reliability manager a week from now. Because a lot of times we don't know what 10 minutes from now looks like, or an hour from now. So it's really hard to kind of get things up and moving here. So again, we don't need to rehash the intro. I've been in the IoT space for over 10 years, been on the leading edge, saw a lot of frustration along the way. I was once Noria's host of an IoT and reliability video series way back in the day, and I hate IoT pilots. And yet, that is exactly what this topic is about, because we just want to make them better. I hate them because they're terrible. We have to make them better at this point. But we are seeing progress, because they're actually getting done. There's really not going anywhere. And so this led me to a point of frustration. Last year, I actually came and did a 3-hour workshop on this nauseating topic with you guys here in Schaumburg last year. Ed was sitting in that audience, and he was a big help as well. But the cross eyes that I got when I showed up to a reliability conference with big easels and pastel-colored Post-it notes and Sharpies was a little harsh out of the gate, but everyone ultimately jumped in. We actually ended up collecting over 300 Post-it notes across that session. And that was, there was probably about 40, 45 people that were in that session, and we were really just talking about, honestly, we workshopped the shit out of these IoT pilots. Why aren't they working? Why are they working? And what we found is we kind of went piece by piece through each element of an IoT pilot. I ultimately found that there was a wide spectrum of experiences of people in that audience. And it still felt that external factors were the largest indicator of success or failure. There were groups in there that's like, man, we're crushing it. But it's because, like, top down, the whole team gets it, corporate gets it, and all that. And then you got other people that's like, I'm a one-person island. I can't get anything moving. I keep getting stuck. And so, so again, after collecting all of this and poring over the hundreds of these Post-it notes that we got, to me, I think the biggest takeaway was this idea of a structured environment versus kind of the wild west. And so all of that kind of taken away, again from from that experience, it led me to want to build this, and it's called a Better Pilot Roadmap. And again, I hope it doesn't look daunting. I try to keep it simple. But this journey needs structure, it needs pointed feedback and all of that. We have to have a place to collect our thoughts, plans, and actions. Every success story we've heard on pilots usually roots with some type of starter block that gets people organized and rallied around a topic, in this case, an IoT pilot. Because I will tell you this, time is your most precious resource. We have all felt that burden when we are out of time to do what we've been asked to do. And so I encourage you, as we walk through how to do this, make the time to do this if you want a successful IoT pilot, or frankly, you'll waste it. Because all the time you think, man, I don't have time to do anything like this. I guarantee you by the time you start this half a dozen times, all that time you could have spent doing this in the first place, you just net zeroed out all the time you wasted trying to just wing it or anything like that. Because I'll tell you this, I don't know if you know this or not, but 72% of innovation comes when we do mundane tasks. Our brain, why we get a lot of shower thoughts. Everyone ever have a whiteboard in the shower or anything like that? I wonder why. You take a walk, you're on your drive. You ever take that 20-minute drive to work and you're like, man, I have no idea how I got here, but I just landed here. I wasn't even mentally present. And that's why, again, 72% of innovative ideas come during mundane tasks. And so my hope for you is that I want to create more time in your day to go take that extra walk, to go for that lunch or whatever, because that's usually when we actually think about how to solve our problems. Because when we're in the fire of our day-to-day, we'll never be in that mindset to actually think about doing our jobs as a way to like add value where we're at right now. Another key piece that's working against us, as I was telling my team earlier this week, a pretty terrible statistic as of 2022, humans now fall below goldfish on attention span. We have less than a 3-second attention span. Goldfish are better than us at retaining attention than we are at this point. I wonder why. So Nielsen, if you're familiar with Nielsen, they do all the TV stats and everything like that. Trust me, this is not a made-up number. According to Nielsen, Americans consumed 21 million years of content last year. Just Americans. 21 million years worth of content in 1 year alone. No wonder we don't have the attention span that we need to kind of set the time aside to do this. That's why I want to make this stuff easy for us in here. I don't want us to be overthinking about it. So let's dive in and talk about this a little bit more. In my opinion, you have to start by clearly defining the problem that is in front of you. And when I say the problem, fortunately, I'm going to ask us to kind of zoom out a little bit and think about the clear business problem that we're actually trying to solve here. Not just X machine isn't working, or X asset isn't working and it needs to work better, or X asset continues to fail prematurely. We have to figure that out. We have to figure out how to contextualize that in the greater business if we want more momentum. So a piece of advice, don't fall in the downtime trap. Good grief, we've been at trade shows for over 20 years now, and the word downtime, it doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. We know what it is. You know where it doesn't show up? On a P&L. You could save all the downtime in the world, and that CFO who's going to do your accounting at the end of the year, whatever, you know where that downtime doesn't show up? On that report. Great. Awesome. I'm going to cut your maintenance budget next year. Thanks for saving me that project. So for your own sanity, don't use downtime, because it doesn't actually help you at the end of the day. Probably get you a pat on the back, but as far as like actually driving value, it doesn't really go in there. It's a ghost at that point. And so you have to think through the lens of, if I need more investment, I need to do more. So what more am I unlocking in my operation of which I'm trying to gain investment in order to do? And the context of that is key. And so again, think about it through outcomes. Start at the end. If I want my business to go here, what needs to happen that I can walk back through today? And to kind of eliminate your BS factor, I always like to use the 5 whys. So usually happens really good in a conversation when someone says, hey, I think we should do this. Why? I'm going to give you a response. Why? I'm going to give you a response. If you have small children like I do, it's kind of a fun technique there too, but it's kind of very similar. Why? If you ask someone why 5 times, you will ultimately drive them to the root of what they're trying to achieve. You may be as annoying as shit while you're doing that, but it's effective and it works.
So there you have it, a brief clip from Drury's presentation at Reliable Plant Conference 2025. Connect with them at UpTimeCM.com.